Hi there, David Banyachek here. Welcome to the continuing series, Be Well, helping people move out of a place of uncertainty, overcome from a place of uncertainty. And there's probably not a better time to create this series, and it's what propelled it than the current COVID-19 pandemic. Because let's face it, it's put a lot of restrictions on corporations and individuals, and has caused a lot of stress. It seems to have backed you into a corner. Maybe you feel like your options have been taken away. I want to start this video with one encouragement. Don't manage your life based on what you think and what you feel. Because if you do that, in cases of uncertainty, you're going to be focused on what you can't do. And that's just a negative cycle downwards. I want to use this series to help focus you on what you can do, because there are opportunities even in this time of feeling uncertain. And I think the opportunities are great. In the introductory video, I talked about a metaphor of going to the well. The world can take a lot of things away from you. It can take away, travel. It can take away this. It can take away products, opportunities. It can take away a number of things, but it can't take away your well. And I defined your well as three things. Number one, your strengths. Number two, your beliefs. And number three, your community. And today I want to focus on your strengths. They're important. Can I make this point? You all have them. Each authenticity means that we have our strengths and our weaknesses. I'm just not sure that we're all focused on them, because even for myself and for the people that I have coached over the past 15 years, I see that most people that I meet are influenced to focus on what they're not doing well and listening to that feedback over the feedback that they're getting around where they're strong and what they actually do well. And so while they exist, you're not focused on it. I want to give you two strategies to focus on your strengths, because that change in what you see is going to change your future. And the first is this, is something that you can do for yourself, and that's to keep a journal. And not just a random journal, a very specific journal. Over the next 3-6 months, can you do this? And maybe even start the pages by looking backward. Let's do that. To times in your past where you felt great. Actually, it's ironic. Your feelings are going to lead to data using this method. What are the times in your life where you were feeling good, where you didn't have to hit the snooze button to go to the place of work that you were at, where there were far less difficult people in your life because you weren't being difficult? and what were you doing? That's the question. What were you doing? Can you write it down? Because there's a direct correlation between feeling good and our strengths. We usually feel good when we're doing something that we're good at. And it's important to recognize those. Not every single entry into your journal is going to be a suggestion of what you should do next, given that COVID-19 may have put some of you at a crossroads in your life. But I want you to look for confirmations. Where are the 10, 12 entries that point to doing the same things, tell you about who you are and where you're strong? Similarly, I want you to go to your friends, and I want you to go to colleagues at work or colleagues in your community that you trust and respect, and ask them, where do you see me as being strong? What are my strengths? And not only what are my strengths, just don't give me the word. Give me some examples of what I was doing using those strengths to give me some context about what you're talking about. And similar to your journal, one piece of feedback doesn't truth make, but we're looking for confirmations, and you might then start to tie it to your journal around what are they saying, what am I seeing, and what are the core strengths that these data points are telling me I have. And it may be, that you're mechanical. It may be that you're organized. It may be that you're creative. It may be, and start making that list. Start writing them down. Yes, you have them. I want you to focus on them, because that leads to step number 2, which is to opportunize them. And what do I mean by that? I mean that even though when we recognize that we have some strengths, we don't today see how we can use them, because we feel like we are kind of pegged in by our job. And I want to make this statement to you. You should not let your current circumstance dictate your identity. You should use your identity to dictate the circumstance of your future. And that's what this 3-step process is about. Just because you're creative does not mean you have to be an artist. There are so many applications for creativity in the business world and in the industrial world and in every sector of our society. And I want you to have some fun discovering what your options are. Not making a decision yet, just having fun discovering what your options are. I love this story from the NASCAR circuit. It's about a team owner, true story, who hired a kid to sweep the floors in his shop. And during his breaks, he would watch this kid and he would have a spinner and he'd be like effortlessly just moving this thing around his hands. And it didn't just tell the owner that he was good with spinners, but it showed him a core strength of hand-eye coordination. And even though he hired them for a certain job, and even though you are in a certain job today, he saw potential that they could plan for. And that's what I'm asking you to do, is to start, focusing away from uncertainty and focusing towards potential. And he went to this kid and he said, how would you like to learn to be start being part of our tire change team? Because that's a core element where that strength can be used. And the kid got excited, and long story short, he helped raise this team to being one of the top and quickest and most reliable tire change teams on the NASCAR circuit. And it didn't stop there, because you know what? Yeah, that was the next step. But what else requires great hand-eye coordination? Being a NASCAR driver. The future is exciting for this kid. And the future can be exciting for you if you step back from how you're feeling in this uncertainty, start to identify what your strengths are, and start to use your community around you and brainstorm where you can opportunize it, and then develop a plan. What is the next step that I'm going to take? Where I'm going to go? I'm currently mopping the floor, to use the parallel of the kid. What is my next step? What does my tire change team look like? And then, get excited. What could that lead to? Here's the challenge. Take these 3 steps. Actively pursue them, despite what you think and what you feel right now. Choose to, because nothing can stop you. COVID-19 can't stop you from doing these 3 things. And I'm excited that a year down the road, 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road, you're not going to curse COVID, you're going to thank COVID. Because it took you from a place where your circumstance defined your identity to a place where your identity, as you identified it, helped open up a future that you're going to love.